Haha, and this time I didn't screw it up. Welcome, everyone, to Down the Middle. And real quick, I'm just going to make sure that we're rolling here. There we are. Can I get an audio check from you, my friend?
Check 1, check 2.
Can I get an audio check from you, my friend?
Check 1.
Perfect. Welcome, one and all wrestling fans and normal people who are boring. Welcome to Down the Middle. This podcast is brought to you by Boger Cabinetry. More on them later, but tonight is a night of speculation. But first, I have to be a little bit selfish and share my triumph. I finally got my certificate.
Ooh.
4 fucking years. Finally. Very proud of that. But what's funny is I got it tonight when I was at class, and I'd actually forgotten about the certificate. So I thought an instructor was getting like promoted because he's the guy who presented it, the instructor who presented it, was making a really big deal about a particular instructor being very hard and working hard. And then he said my name. I'm like, oh yeah, I do get a certificate, don't I?
I am special sometimes.
Sometimes. I really feel like I didn't deserve it, but I'm not going to argue with them because they can kick my ass. But anyway, so tonight, the Royal Rumble. I'm actually really, it's the first time in a while that I've been excited for a pay-per-view. And it's all WWE's fault.
It is. That's this kind of stuff they do to you.
Well,
Now,
for a while they didn't, but I was about to be a real smart aleck and be like, I don't know what they're doing, but I know exactly what they're doing. They put Triple H in charge.
that's true. That's true.
That's
And we don't have to worry about Shane doing this year's Royal Rumble and it being a shit show like last year's.
that was WrestleMania, wasn't it?
No, that was
Oh no,
Royal
he
Rumble.
was in the Rumble. Yeah, last year's Rumble was kind of.
Yeah, he's the one that booked. I think it was last year's. Last year's a year before that. Maybe it was last. I think it was last year's.
I think it was because I remember being underwhelmed with the Rumble last year. Not like it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. Case in point, I don't really remember it other than the fact that everyone knew Cody was going to win.
Yeah.
And this year, it's so funny because this is how I feel, and this is when wrestling is perfect for me. I want Cody to win. It makes sense for Cody to win. But they've cast enough doubt that even if Cody does win, like not everyone, but the bulk of the people want him to, he will have earned it in storyline, and the match won't be boring because last year, literally, everyone knew Cody was going to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
It was no shock at all. But this year, he's gone back and forth with the likes of CM Punk, which that was on this past Raw, which was
phenomenal. It was great.
A promo set like, frankly, only WWE can do today. And that's saying something. And then Drew, I almost called him Drew Galloway. Drew McIntyre is in on it. Seth is unfortunately out, so it would seem, due to injury. But Gunther,
I think.
I mean, Gunther's kind of put Seth on notice, but Gunther is always a force to be reckoned with, and he's in the Rumble. And then Lashley's in the Rumble thus far. So actually, there's quite a few names that haven't been, which I know they don't name them all. Yeah. But anyway, as far as the pay-per-view goes, and I disagree with this. It may not be in this order, mind you. But the card I'm looking at has the Men's Royal Rumble match first.
That's just... In my opinion, the Rumble always needs to go last.
And it might, because I look at the cards on Wikipedia always, and they're not always in this order.
Well, in my opinion, I think to start should be the world title.
I honestly agree.
You get the crowd all the way up on their tippy toes, and then you bring them back down with the Women's Royal Rumble, and then you throw some shots in there here and there.
Actually, I take that back. I think So we're gonna screw it up tonight. We're gonna go in the order we think they should go on. I honestly think because we got Logan Paul defending the U.S. title against Kevin Owens, and I think that should go on first.
I don't know. I'm not saying it'll be a stinker match, but
I don't. It won't be a stinker match at all. Like it'll be really good.
I think that's what will start. It will be the Logan Paul Kevin Owens. I think that will start.
I think so too.
And then we'll probably transition into the Women's Royal Rumble.
I would agree with that. And then there's going to be some other matches. They're going to have to be because there have only been 4 officially announced thus far. But we're going to spend a lot of time tonight talking about who we think might show up because there's actually some. I'm going to leave it at possibilities because I have no certainties, frankly. But I have some ideas of who might show up. I also have some ideas of who might have been scheduled to show up, but now will not show up. But we'll get into that shit show later.
Yeah, I don't ever expect anything when it comes to the Rumble because, in my opinion, anything happened. I mean, a couple years ago, we literally had Mickie James show up that was in TNA, holding the TNA Knockouts title, and then he came out to her TNA song. Like,
yep. That's one of my big surprises. And hello, Hakeem. Good to see you too, my friend. Glad you found us on the new night because this is I think you've been here with us on Thursday before, but I can't remember.
And I'm glad it keeps coming back.
I know. We have a fan. I'm grateful.
Hey, one's better than none.
Yes, I agree. But yeah, so many of the Logan Paul. I think it's going to be a great match, frankly.
Well, I think Kevin Owens will take it from him. I do.
I don't know. And you know what's funny? This is one of the rare times where I really don't care. It can go one way or another. I'll be fine. But I get to see Logan Paul defy human physics, and Kevin Owens is great. So it's going to be good. I will say one little, and this isn't entirely WWE's fault, but thanks to Brawl Out, you can't have backstage fights anymore. You can't. Unless you're going to go through the trouble of acting like you're actually fining people or disciplining them. And
explain that for me real quick.
I'll get you. So I saw it on TikTok, but WWE shared it across their socials. Kevin Owens and Logan Paul had a fake fight at the Performance Center.
Okay.
Here's the problem now, though. Thanks to AEW, we now know that real fights backstage have consequences. Okay. So now, and it's funny because AEW still does backstage fight segments literally after Brawl Out and Brawl In.
Okay.
When they fired CM Punk over it and suspended Jack Perry, which he finally popped back up.
Yeah, and ripped up his AEW contract. So I mean,
it's not a real contract, but I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. I think it makes sense for him to wrestle somewhere else for a while.
Yeah,
it definitely makes sense to me. I think he was probably reprimanded backstage. And I'm not sure because I don't have all the information. It kind of depends on how it all happened as to whether or not I think he should have been fired. But for those who don't know, Jack Perry popped up in New Japan, ripped up a fake AEW contract, and grew out a beard. So now he actually, what they were joking though, Jungle Man, Patches O Jungle Man. It's not a bad beard. It's fine. But then he also has an armband that says Scapegoat on it. So this could be really interesting development. But what did I say? Sorry, Hakeem. I want KO to win, but I think they're going to give it to Logan unless his legal issues make them take it off of him. Yeah, and that may be. I do think it's kind of time for Logan Paul to not have a belt. I don't know how I feel about him. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
It's the U.S. title, so
it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know that I would have done it, but it's not bad enough to warrant like a negative response. It's whatever. What was like? Oh, Jungle Boy. I completely got thrown off track there. It'll come to me. But yeah, so we're gonna have Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. Should be a pretty good match. And then, like you said, we had the Women's Royal Rumble. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but honestly, who cares?
We could always get Jade Cargill finally.
I think she'll be in the Rumble, but I don't think she'll. So, thank you. You just reminded me. I forgot Jade was there. I'm sorry. I'm running on not little sleep, but I haven't been sleeping well at all. I don't know what it is. It's like no matter how much I sleep, I feel like I'm still not getting enough. It's weird. So my brain's a little foggy. But yeah, so no, I need them. I need to get more. He's referring to OMG CBD, who is not the sponsor, but screw it. Any of your OMG CBD Delta 9, Delta 8 needs, visit OMG CBD in Columbus, Indiana. They will hook you up.
But I mean, from what I heard with Jade Cargill, like her mom was sick, or I think it was her mom or her grandma maybe that was sick. That's why she took some extra time to not debut or anything. And then I heard that she got hurt while training.
I'm not sure.
And now I'm not sure what they're going to do. Like, but the Rumble's the perfect time to finally debut her. And in my opinion, number 30.
Yes. Yeah.
Keep her all the way to number 30 if you're going to. Okay, number 30 I think is the perfect spot for somebody that's debuting new, or
not somebody you want to squash, because like a Santino Morella comes out at like number 12 and then gets thrown out. I agree with you. It'll make an impact, but she won't be in there long enough to, if she's not ready, she won't stink the joint up, but she's in there long enough where if she is ready, she'll be able to showcase. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. Another prediction I have, I wish I had a list. I don't know. Is Becky announced?
Yeah, she's already announced she's going to be in it.
I think we will see Lyra Valkyria from NXT.
Oh, okay. I haven't been watching much NXT.
It's funny because I've for the most part found NXT pretty boring. I'm not faulting the show for this. I just haven't been watching, so I don't know who any of these people are. So I found it boring. But the first episode I watched of NXT after a very long break was Lyra Valkyria at, I want to say it was Halloween Havoc. And I was like, I don't even know who she is, but this is great. Like, this is fantastic. I think Lyra Valkyria is phenomenal.
Did you see on NXT where they announced The Rock's daughter as the new GM?
I didn't see the announcement, but I saw that she was GM. And actually, I'm sorry, they don't pronounce her name that way, even though they should. They pronounce her name Lyra Valkyria. It needs to be Lyra Valkyria. Sorry, not sorry. And then Nikita Lyons she's probably going to be in the Rumble if I had to take a guess. So is Nia Jax. I don't know if she's been announced yet, but she's going to be in there.
I could see Alexa Bliss coming back.
Possibly. Well, she had her baby. I don't know how long ago off the top of my head, so she might not quite be there. But it would be a good time to come back. But yes, congratulations to Alexa Bliss, for those who don't know.
Yeah. And Carmella.
And Carmella, you're right. Yep. Carmella had her baby as well. So congratulations.
Carmella had hers after Alexa, so I could see Alexa coming back before Carmella.
Agreed. Yeah, I can see that. As far as a winner, I'll be honest, I've been bad. I haven't been watching enough wrestling. I kind of half-ass predict that Becky will win the Rumble, but that's solely based on the promo that was on Raw. So I don't have any like real hard evidence for that.
I personally think it might be Bayley. I think Bayley might win.
Maybe. Yeah. A
real outcast when it came to damage control.
Possibly.
Damage control is going to like shoot her out of the mix.
I think that should become Io's group.
Yes, I think it should become Io's group, and I think I think Bayley may win it and go after Io's women's world title.
Ooh, that would be good. I changed my vote. I want Bayley to win it for that reason.
I just Bayley's always been the oddball of the group, even though she started the group.
Even back, well, but Bailey's kind of been the oddball in every group she's been in, if you think about it, because even the loose groups like the Four Horsewomen in NXT, which, oh my gosh, remember how good that program was with her, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte all kind of always intermingling?
I, I did hear there was rumors about Sasha,
Oh, that's okay. That's another one. Yes,
but I
I.
heard the rumors went through, so I don't know.
Here's the thing: if it weren't solely Triple H in charge, I would see. But let's be real, and I'm not trying to sling crap here, but let's be honest. Who has been following Mercedes Moné at all ever since her botch in New Japan on her debut?
Not really very many people.
No. The promotions just, there are some wrestlers who, and I don't mean this as a dig, even though it sounds like one. There are some wrestlers who will shine like crazy in WWE, but will fizzle literally anywhere else. And I think Sasha Banks is one of those people. It's not a lack of skill. It's especially if you're brought up in that system.
Mm-hmm.
You're used to that system. You're used to that style. You're used to playing to that sort of crowd. It's a different animal. Wrestling and people that aren't wrestling fans don't really get this. Wrestling in New Japan is way different than wrestling in WWE, which is why people, for example, like Shinsuke, it took him, and again, this is not fault. I actually prefer the New Japan style, so I don't mean this as a dig. It took him years to get used to the WWE style. And he's just now kind of where he fits, and I'll be honest, I don't like it as much. But the fact remains, and I think, like you said, I think Sasha Banks will be at the Rumble, and I think that'll be her return to WWE. And I think
it'll be a full-on return, or you think it might be just a show up?
No, I think it's going to be a full-on return. Because where's she going to go? Let's be real. Where's she going to go? AEW? I mean, maybe, because AEW is a great place to get paid to do nothing.
That's true.
Especially if you want to start an OnlyFans and you're a female wrestler, go to AEW. I've laid this out so many times. You debut, you get a huge pop, you get like a 3-month push that leads nowhere, but in that time you get a bunch of male fans, and you can say, by the way, I have an OnlyFans. Please pay me $50 a month to look at me in a bikini.
Exactly.
Oh, Hakeem's right though. Yeah, he remembers her outfit in New Japan more than anything. That's true. So maybe she is going to AEW. I don't know. But no, I think we'll see her at the Rumble. I'll be legitimately surprised if she's not at the Rumble. And I'll be very disappointed if she signs with AEW. Frankly, though, I'm kind of disappointed with anyone that signs with AEW right now, which I will lead into one of my suspects for the Male Royal Rumble later, but similar situation. But yeah, I'm with you. Now that you mentioned that, I think Bayley will win the Rumble, and I think that will lead to a great WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
And then next, I think like you said, we've got a placeholder world title match, but a good one. Let's be real. It's a 4-way between Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight. But we all know it's going to be Cody and Roman at Mania. We all know this.
Yeah.
Now, as far as placeholder matches go, it's pretty good.
I think it'll be a real solid match. I mean,
well, and it does something for everybody. Reigns has to be there. He's the champion. Orton gets back in the main event picture after coming back, jacked as hell.
And you gotta think too. Roman doesn't have to be pinned.
No, he does not, but he won't be either.
True, but hypothetically, if Roman were to lose, somebody else can get pinned and he can say he didn't lose.
Yeah, Roman's gonna somehow carry it. Now, what'll be interesting though is if Roman has bought one of the other guys in the match. That will make it interesting. I don't see how, because everybody else is a babyface.
Yeah.
So it would be a swerve. And then
I don't consider AJ a baby.
yeah, but he's not really a heel either. I don't know what they're trying to do with him. But AJ's another one of those people where like you can make him a heel and he can wrestle like a heel, but there's still going to be a large portion of the audience that loves everything he does. So I guess that's what I mean. Like he may very well be a heel, but let's be real, he's not. Like he can do it, but at this point, yeah, he's always going to have a large portion of the crowd with him. But anyway, so yeah, my prediction of that is going to be Roman's going to retain because it's got to be Cody. It's got to be Cody at Mania. It's got to be. If it's not Cody at Mania this time, it's too late. Then even if and when Cody wins against Roman, it's too late.
Yeah, it's not going to matter anymore.
I agree. I rode. What's that? Hakeem says LA Knight could turn to get closer to Roman. I would agree with that, except for the fact that boy, have they've been lighting a fire under LA Knight, and I can't see them running the risk of him turning on the crowd.
Yeah, that crowd's too behind him right now. Still.
Now, a year ago, I would have said, yeah, that's not the best idea, so they'll probably do it. But a year lately, I mean, the game knows what he's doing. So, either way, I'm stoked to see it. I'm stoked. I'm ready. I'm ready to see it. So yeah, do you agree that Roman, or do you have another idea?
I agree. I agree with Roman, but I mean, there's been a lot of things with the Rock speculation, so maybe we might get the Rock shows up.
Possibly. Maybe the Rock will be in the Rumble, but if the world title match is first, then I don't know. It does kind of depend on match order. But anyway, let's go to what everybody wants to talk about: the men's Royal Rumble match. Royal Rumble match. But first, do you need a new kitchen? I'm sure you do. Everybody needs a new kitchen. Well, what if I told you that you can get a brand new kitchen, all plywood construction, soft close hardware, dovetail drawers, and in many cases a lifetime warranty for 30 to 40% less than big box stores? What would you say to that, Brian?
I would say sign me up.
Well, you can. Just go to bogercabinetry.com and get more information. Very convenient. If you're local to the Fishers, Indiana area, you can stop in at their showroom, or you can order your cabinets directly online, no matter where you are in the United States. You just have to put them together, but they are super easy. I've personally done it many, many times. And honestly, you can save literal thousands and still have an exceptionally nice kitchen, probably better quality than a lot of the American-made cabinets out there. I'm not joking. I've seen them. So if you want to save 30 to 40%, visit bogercabinetry.com. Link is in the description. But now, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. I think Kazuchika Okada is going to be at the Rumble.
I agree.
And here's...
I've seen too many things where his contract was up in New Japan.
Now, here's the interesting part, and this is why it's beautiful. I think he will be at the Rumble. He has signed, it's not an extension. Some sort of agreement has been made so that Okada can appear at, I believe, 2 events in February for New Japan, but his contract is expired, and he did not re-sign. He's coming to the U.S. The speculation is AEW or WWE. The problem, well, it's not the problem. The thing is, Okada and the Young Bucks are still to this day very, very close. And there's speculation that Okada has some nagging injuries from carrying New Japan on his back for a decade.
Yeah.
So I suppose he could sign with AEW. And he's not the oldest, but I mean, I hope he comes to WWE. A year ago, I wouldn't have said that.
With that being said, I have a bad feeling to say he does show up at WWE at the Rumble. I just have a bad feeling he's going to be put on NXT and not the main roster.
I think so too, but the reason I think that is because he's got to learn the WWE style. Now, here's the thing though. He can still come to the Rumble and not show up on TV for a while because, like I said, he has those dates in February.
Yeah.
Even if he signs with AEW, he could still show up at the Royal Rumble. Maybe as a trial. Now, that's a more Vince McMahon thing to do, but I mean, it was also Triple H that got Jushin Thunder Liger to wrestle one match in NXT.
That's true.
So it's not outside the realm of possibility for Triple H to be like, yeah, he's not under contract, so we could have him just show up at the Rumble, and then if we like him, and he likes it,
Yeah.
It'd be a good try. And if I were Okada and I had that opportunity and I'm still deciding, be like, well, I might as well do the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
I mean, why wouldn't you,
It's a one-off thing.
But they could potentially lead to you, and imagine the moment he could have with AJ.
Mm-hmm. Or Shinsuke.
Both, yeah, because they're both in the Rumble, or at least I think they've both been announced for the Rumble. But even if not, they're both going to be in the Rumble.
Well, let's talk about other people that could be in the Rumble. I mean, Arthur the Pain just came back.
I don't know that they'll be in the Rumble, but yes, I did hear that they came back. Although it would make sense for them to come back. I think we will see Braun Breaker.
Yep.
In the Rumble.
Braun and Baron's been doing some real funny stuff.
They have. So another, I don't know if I believe this, but I call it a hunch. I think Hulk Hogan might show up to the Rumble.
Off of that one video package he did?
Because it's the 40-year anniversary of Hulk Hogan's debut for the WWF.
I mean, he did say he had one more in him. I mean, I don't know.
I think, bold prediction, I think we will see Hulk Hogan at the Royal Rumble. I don't know how they're going to do it, because if he falls off that apron, he might die. But I think we might see Hulkster.
Here's what you do. You have Hogan's music hit, he goes to come out, Nia attacks him. There you go.
Hakeem, what will you get a kick out of? Hulk Hogan? I agree. That place will erupt, man.
Oh, yeah. It would scream.
The best part would be if he comes out after Okada and Real American hits.
Oh my God, I would die.
Dude, Okada would die. Like, Hulk Hogan. I want to see Hulk Hogan take a Rainmaker. But also, in other New Japan news, I recently learned that Hiroshi Tanahashi is, what was it, the president of, he's running the office at New Japan.
I did not know that.
Which I don't know of anyone better, frankly. Because I think he might have one more big one left in him, but from what I saw of his performances in AEW, like, again, I'm not cutting him up because I love Hiroshi Tanahashi's work, but Father Time catches up to us all, and Father Time is undefeated. So,
unless you're Ric Flair.
How many retirement matches can we have? I don't know. Let's find out.
I think it was on number 4 now.
Is it only 4? I thought it was more than that. Hey, and I actually think this will happen. Chris Jericho has said repeatedly, but he also wrote it in his book, he wants his retirement match to be against Lance Storm.
Really?
Yeah, and Lance Storm can still, he doesn't wrestle, but he still can.
I didn't know. I didn't know that one.
And I think, and here's the funny part, this is one of those times, which CM Punk kind of did this stuff. I think, knowing what I know about those two, it'll be a beat per beat rehash of their first match ever together, which Jericho says he can still lay out.
I do remember a thing where CM Punk did say that if he ever had a retirement match, it'd be against John Cena.
Which, that's another part. Speaking of John Cena, I think Cena will show up for the Rumble.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
Really? You don't think so?
I really think his time is about.
I think it is, but here's the thing, like you said, I think WWE would be able to just print a money machine, even without a title, if you got Punk Cena 2. Which I know it's not actually 2. It's like Punk Cena 50. But as far as big match.
Orton said the same thing also. He said his retirement match, but he would like Cena also.
Well, Cena just needs to go on a retirement tour.
He's going to be the Raw Legend Killer.
Which, you know what, though? For everybody who gives John Cena grief, which isn't as common now because he's not on Raw every week. And you remember, for a good long while, better part of a decade, he was on Raw and SmackDown every week and wrestled just about every week. What's there? He might be there to hype up the upcoming video game. Yeah, that's possibly true. Possibly. Yeah, I love the way CM Punk hyped up the video game in the middle of a promo and made it look like he wasn't doing a plug, but we all know he was doing a plug. Yep. The way almost only CM Punk can. And I also love the way CM Punk can wink at the audience that knows. And that promo with Cody was just, ugh. And Cody did phenomenal too, not to take anything away from him. I'm more CM Punk than CM Punk. And I'm like, you know what? He's kind of right. Yeah. Because that promo wasn't a lie. CM Punk said it, but Cody did it. Cody went out and formed a brand new company.
That is true.
That did effectively change the wrestling world, at least temporarily. Now it's very much more of the same. But, I mean, and whether or not you agree or disagree, WWE did change some of the things they were doing because AEW exists.
They had to.
Exactly. They had to. Now, after a while, they realized that AEW wasn't actually... Because what did Triple H say? He's like, okay, you beat our developmental. Congratulations.
That's true.
But they did beat... I mean, NXT got taken off they'll never admit to this, but the timing is obvious. NXT got put on cable television because AEW. And got moved up to 2 hours.
I honestly didn't realize that.
It's been a couple years, and everybody takes it for granted now, but I remember when NXT was only on the I mean, we all remember. We just don't think about it. NXT obviously got moved to Wednesday nights on cable at 8 p.m. to compete with AEW, and AEW did beat them.
A couple times.
Well, more than a couple. I'd say it was a fairly strong victory. And NXT was having to pull out all the stops every week. You know, back when Adam Cole was in NXT, they were pulling out everything. And they won sometimes, but it's funny but at the same time, and I think Triple H understands this, in the day and age of streaming, I mean, TV ratings matter, but they don't matter as much in terms of direct competition. It matters to advertisers.
Yeah.
But speaking of streaming, I'm sure you saw the announcement. Raw is moving exclusively to Netflix.
I seen that.
I don't know how I feel about it, but...
I mean, it'll still be on TV, but...
No, it won't.
It won't?
No, it is exclusively streaming on Netflix.
How are you going to live...
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. It can be done. What's that Hakeem said? I still miss the old black and gold NXT. I don't really watch the new one. I agree, man. Black and gold NXT was, I mean, it was the best wrestling for a couple of years. Realistically, from 2014 to 2016, I would say NXT was, generally speaking, the best wrestling on TV. That was when New Japan was starting to really find its groove. By 2016, I'd say New Japan was probably the best wrestling you could watch until about 2019. Man, I'm really more like 2018. It was funny. There were like these weird 2-year blocks that kept happening. I don't know. I just saw actually, I think I still have the announcement, so I'll read it verbatim. Because I may have... Oh, no, but I did send it to you. Ha-ha. Let's see. Next year, January 2025. Starting in January 2025, Netflix will exclusively stream WWE Raw in the US, Canada, UK, and Latin America every single week all year long.
Now, is it going to still stay on Mondays?
I would assume so because it's Monday Night Raw. But, I mean, again, I don't... And it might be a year because they might be developing the technology to stream live on Netflix, which, if that's what they're going to do, and I think they will, that's a game changer. I know we're streaming live right now, but I mean, for Netflix to do it, I don't know how I feel about it. I truly don't know how I feel about it. It's gonna reach a really wide audience.
I just think it's going to be one of the things where we're just going to have to wait till then to like really figure out what's going on.
We are, and what I'm really worried about is how is that going to affect the wrestlers' pay? I just don't know. I mean, theoretically, Netflix is just paying for the license, so it really doesn't matter. So maybe that's enough to cover it. I just have a hard time seeing that sort of agreement. Like, are they being paid per episode? And that's every week. I don't see how that's financially feasible without taking a massive pay cut for the wrestlers, not for WWE. I don't know. But you still have SmackDown too. But they're still separate rosters, so man, I don't know. But I mean, I trust it's Endeavor. It's no longer solely WWE, so I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know either. Like I'm sitting here like trying to think like all the things that could go on and like what they could do, and it's just like I just don't know. I just don't. Like we won't know until January comes around in 2025, and then it finally says, "Hey, this is the date that's like actual date it's dropping. Tune at this time." Until then, we won't know.
Yeah, and I'm really hesitant because we all know when they started the WWE Network instead of doing traditional pay-per-view, the wrestlers got a massive pay decrease for the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Let's see, Hakeem's got some more. The Ciampa Johnny matches were amazing, and I don't think about that. You could be right if it could affect their pay. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm really worried about. And it's truly ironic because the streaming platform gives you a potentially much bigger audience than traditional pay-per-view and technically cable, especially. But at the same time, it's a much lower cost per user. So I really
raise the price because they're talking about raising the prices of Netflix.
Well, but Netflix now has tiers. So like what I did, because yes, Netflix, but again, and this is why I'm really concerned. So look at Netflix. I don't even know how big their catalog is, but let's think about this. A television network has a finite amount of programming that they can show because there's only 24 hours in a day. Netflix has hundreds of thousands of hours of content that is accessible at any time, anywhere for a user. So,
in my opinion, if that's what they're going to do, then why don't they just fully jump over from Peacock to Netflix?
Well, I think they have an existing deal with Peacock for the premium live events, but this may be testing the waters. So who knows? I think this could backfire, but again, I just don't know.
We
Because
just don't. We just
yeah,
don't have enough information to know what's going on.
it's unprecedented. Now, I'm going to give AEW some grief for a change. Remember, you might not remember this. It was a few months back. It was last year. I had said that since Warner Brothers Discovery already owns Max, HBO Max, I said, why don't you have AEW Dynamite streaming available on there?
Yeah.
All the AEW shows. And because they already had the reality show on there, the AEW All Access, because this was Roads to the Top was over by the time this happens.
Yeah.
So I mean, they own the rights. It's the same company, right? I don't know why they didn't do it because I, I'm not trying to give them grief, but like TBS and TNT, like I'm pretty sure Max has a wider user base. But the only reason I can fathom that they didn't do it is because it didn't make sense to financially.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at WWE and Netflix, and I agree. Netflix is a bit of a different animal because they don't have a television network behind them, and it is a more expensive streaming service, probably because they don't have the television network behind them. But now you can get Netflix for I think it's $5.99 or $6.99 a month. It just comes with ads, and there's like a tiny bit of content that's locked for you, which I downgraded mine because I don't care about ads, and pretty much all the content that's blocked I don't want to watch anyway. So I don't really care. Now, what'll be interesting though is if I have to upgrade to watch Monday Night Raw, which I can foresee because it's a different animal if it's live. If it's not live, it's going to be very disappointing. I don't know, but like I said, we will see about that.
Yeah. Just gonna have to wait till then.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's 2025. So we'll see. But and Hakeem, I have a question for you. Um, if you don't mind, I'm gonna type my Instagram in the chat. If you wouldn't mind sending me a message on there, I want to ask you something privately. But yeah, so who else do we think? Who else do we think we'll see in the Rumble Royale?
I mean, you got names like Cardona could show up.
Oh yes, you know what? He's been kind of sort of hinting at possibility, and it would make sense. I think Matt Cardona, as long as they don't rename him Zack Ryder, or name him again, rename as in name him again Zack Ryder, just bring him back as Matt Cardona. He's proven himself.
You know something that would really make him hot, and he just showed up at TNA.
Who's
Nick
that
Nemeth.
Cardona? Yeah, and that I was simultaneously shocked and not surprised at all. Because the writings, I can't believe they let him go, but the writing's been on the wall for over a year now.
Well, here's my thing. He just showed up at TNA and he's hot.
He's white hot, dude.
You have him show up at WWE at the Rumble as Nick Nemeth, and he's going to jump from hot to even hotter.
I think it's too soon for that.
Think so?
However, I have a proposal for the WWE. Take a page out of New Japan's book. Instead of releasing people, I think WWE should start sending wrestlers on excursion when the audience just needs a break from them. But send them to places like Impact. Like, oh my God, I don't know that AEW would take them, but could imagine for a moment, if you will. Let's say in this hypothetical world, let's say that the audience is just tired of AJ Styles. Yeah. They don't want to see him, but WWE understands we're not going to release him because he's way too valuable. They just need a breather. Send him to AEW for 6 months. Just call him up. As if Tony Khan would say no. It's like, hey, Tony, it's Hunter. How you doing? Hey, listen, I was wondering if you would like AJ Styles to appear on your television show for 6 months. Just don't hurt him and don't bury him. Those are the only requirements.
I mean, that could be perfect. And then, like,
Or New Japan.
honestly, you do that, then you open up the forbidden door. Then you can have a Survivor Series.
It's, well, and it's funny. It's funny though, because for everybody who's saying that would never happen, it's just going back to the territory system.
Yes, exactly.
That's all it is. That's all you're doing. And not just AEW and WWE. Even if he says,
and you got NWA.
well, you do still have Ring of Honor too, which Tony owns, but okay.
What's Ring of Honor?
Do what?
What's Ring of Honor?
What's Ring of Honor? You're such an ass. Okay, so let's use that same hypothetical example. Triple H calls Tony Khan and says, "Hey Tony, would you like to have AJ Styles wrestle for you for 6 months? Here are the conditions. Don't do anything intentionally dumb that's going to get him injured, like a death match. Don't bury him, and he has to wrestle for Ring of Honor." Now, if I'm Tony Khan and I'm trying to build up Ring of Honor, AJ Styles is my ROH champion. Like that. And I've got him for 6 months. So I can build up one of my stars in a feud with AJ Styles. It's a win-win-win. And then AJ Styles can go back to WWE, having the prestige of having just done a run of Ring of Honor, reinvented himself, and now he's back and he's hardcore. You know, he's the old AJ Styles again. And that's just AJ. I mean, you could theoretically do that with anyone. So, like, let's rattle this off too. Randy Orton, which I'm going to take that back. The WWE audience is never sick of seeing Randy Orton. That would never happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's think of something. Or probably a better example would be a talent that's at the Performance Center. Be like, he's doing okay, but he's just not progressing. We just think he needs to get reps in. Send him to the Indies. And I think Triple H has done that with a couple of people.
I think they've done that with Evolve a couple of times.
Yeah, they definitely did it with Evolve, but Evolve closed, correct?
I'm not sure.
Or did they reopen it? I can't remember. But I do think, honestly, like, instead of having another developmental because NXT's a brand now, let's face it.
Yeah.
You've got to be ring ready to appear in NXT. So I get it's kind of developmental, but anymore it's really not. It's, don't get me wrong, it's part of their developmental system, but it's really not developmental anymore.
Yeah.
So you almost need another developmental promotion, like an indie, but just send them to the Indies. Good indies that you have a relationship with, like the way OVW was back in the day. Which OVW is still around. It's just not the WWE farm system anymore.
Yeah.
It's also not the TNA farm system anymore. Now, have you heard the rumors that WWE purchased TNA?
I did hear something about that.
I don't think they purchased it, but I have reason to believe that they have fairly warm relations.
Probably.
Or certainly more amicable than they were, which we saw they had Mickie James on in the Royal Rumble. I mean, so
Moose is somebody I'd like to see show up.
That would be interesting. That'd turn some heads. I think next year, so for your idea about Nick Nemeth, I think if Nick Nemeth can become TNA World Champion, and then next year's Rumble he shows up as Nick Nemeth, I think that carries a lot more weight. After he's got that championship under his belt. Or as his belt.
Something like that.
Keem say, I heard about it. I'm wondering, was it true? I'll be honest, I don't know. But I see some things that indicate, which again, it may not be a purchase situation, but it could be similar to the AEW Impact relationship that lasted for a few months. So who knows?
I mean, we never know.
But by the way, that promo in TNA was awesome. It's like nobody's gonna wonder what happened to Nick Nemeth. Everybody's gonna wonder what happened to Dolph Ziggler. And I was like, wow, I want to watch TNA for the first time in 10 years. 10 plus years, probably more like 15.
Yeah, that was a great
TNA, TNA gets the award for survival. I mean,
oh, they do.
They just don't stop. And I appreciate that.
Band-aid it up and they patch it up and then they just keep clawing at it.
It showed up with an eye patch, crutches, 30 bandages, an eyeball hanging out, but by God, it showed up.
2 missing kneecaps.
It showed up to fight. Bravo, TNA. And you know what's funny? I'm actually glad it's going back to TNA.
Yeah, so am I. Sometimes it's hard and I catch myself calling it Impact. Like when it went from TNA to Impact, I was still calling it TNA for a bit. And then now that it's Impact to going to TNA again, I'm still calling it Impact now. And I'm like, it's not Impact anymore. It's TNA. I mean,
for some reason, TNA work. Wrestling federations need that 3 letters. They really do. Well, except NJPW, but New Japan. It's 3 syllables, New Japan.
So honestly, who do you think? Who do you really think who's going to win a Rumble?
I think Cody's going to win the Rumble. Well, and the reason they keep teasing, it's like only 2 other men have won consecutive Royal Rumbles. They're bringing it up. It's expected. They're sowing the seeds. They're planting the seeds.
Hogan and Austin, I think, were the only 2 people, wasn't it?
Hogan and Austin. And Hogan's going to be at the Rumble, so at least hopefully hoping that I'm right.
I don't know. Here's my thing. Is we still have Elimination Chamber before Mania 2.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say they don't do a number 1 contendership in the Elimination Chamber for the world title? Or for...
I mean, maybe, but I still, for the story, because, and it's, I don't know what you call this. Do you have to leave shortly?
I've got about 10 minutes.
Okay. So we can wrap it up then. There's a term for it. I just can't remember. There's a thing that happens in life, in real life, where everything just seems to happen in a way as though it was written, like as a story. It's not necessarily that everything goes perfect, but it's like it would be a great narrative if that were written down. Usually you say something like a great fiction writer couldn't come up with that. And WWE at its best writes those kinds of stories, but makes them it gives you believable doubt. And that's exactly what they're doing with Cody. Exactly to the T. All the seeds are planted, but they're casting just enough doubt. Because you have the seemingly insurmountable, Cody has to defeat 29 other men. And of those men, it's including Bobby Lashley, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, plus a host of mystery people that nobody knows who's going to be there.
Yeah, but here's my thinking on it. Like, we know we're going to have Punk at Mania in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, I agree.
We know it's probably going to be Punk and Rollins at Mania.
Probably.
In some way, shape, or form.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, because and the only reason I say that is because I think part of the agreement, and it may not be this WrestleMania, like let's say Punk signed a 3-year deal. Part of his deal, I'm sure, is a WrestleMania main event, which almost always means the title. Not necessarily, but almost always.
And it could be night 1 or night 2. But okay, listen me out. This could go one of a couple ways. Cody wins. Cody goes on to face Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Then, more than likely, we get Punk to go and face Seth Rollins. More than likely. Way number 2. Punk wins. He goes face Rollins. Cody finds a way to face Roman.
Yeah, and I guess that's what do they say at ECW One Night Stand too? It's okay, Rob, we'll take it. Like it's not the best way, but we'll take it.
Scenario number 3.
No, you said 2. You can't give me a third one. You said I'm just kidding. Go for it.
Scenario number 3.
The whole audience went, no!
Scenario number 3, neither one men win. We get Punk and Cody at Mania.
If it were another year, I'd say sure. But Cody has to win the Rumble and beat Roman. He just has to, man.
Well,
He just has to.
because like we're still not sure if they're going to have Roman beat who's number 1 right now? Who's number 1 for longest reigning? Is it Bruno Sammartino or no?
Yeah, but I think he's a ways away. Like, I don't think that's possible because how long was Bruno Sammartino's reign? I mean, it was redonkulous. Sammartino's reign.
Hogan was number 3, I think.
Yeah, but Bruno Sammartino was almost 10 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, he from 8 years, 1963 to 1971. That's not happening.
Okay, so Hogan was number 3. No, he hasn't beat Hogan's record yet.
You damn cat, you're going to hit a key and knock the stream off. Let's see. Longest WWE title reigns. No, not. I don't care about the tag team titles. Longest WWE championship reigns. Okay. Hulk Hogan was basically a year, 364 days at number 10. And Macho Man ties him. I'm sorry, Macho Man tied AJ Styles to 371 days. John Cena 381 days. CM Punk 434 days. Pedro Morales 1027 days. Bruno Sammartino, well, that's not true. Bruno Sammartino. Oh, okay, hang on. According to WWE, Bruno Sammartino's longest title reign was only 1,237. Wait, okay, these are separate title reigns. Hulk Hogan's longest title reign was 1474. Bob Backlund 2135. And okay, Bruno Sammartino's longest title reign at number 1 was 2,803 days.
Where's Roman on that list?
I don't know. This doesn't make any sense because he's beaten a lot of these people. What year was this? This doesn't make any sense. Okay, this is an old article. So that's good. That's why Roman's not on this list. So Roman Reigns Universal. He has held the title for 1,243 days.
Because Hogan's is like 1,300 and something.
Okay, so yeah, he's been pretty close.
And Hogan's like top 3, I think.
Okay, here's a different article. I think this might be more. Okay, Bruno Sammartino, 2,803. Number 2, Hulk Hogan at 1,474. And Bob Backlund at 2,138. Roman Reigns at 1,100 at the time. So Roman Reigns is now the 4th longest reigning WWE championship holder, which is technically not true. Because it's not really. It's the Universal title, which, I mean, we know it's the world champion, but
yeah,
is it though?
I don't know.
I mean, it is effectively, but is it though? I don't know. I mean, props to Roman because he did what none of us thought he could do. Yeah. Tell a long-term story in WWE.
Very.
Very long. Very long term.
Very, very, very long.
And just for a change of pace, long.
Yeah.
But they do make it interesting just about every time. So kudos to that. Just about. Not every time, but just about every time. But yeah, who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? America or the UK? Because actually, we have a lot of listeners in the UK.
Ooh.
On mostly on Spotify. But yeah, I thought that was a fun fact, and we even have some in India. Who do you think? I don't is Jinder Mahal even in the match?
Oh my god!
You know what? I think he'll show up. I think he'll be there. Oh, when we know main event Jey Uso's in the Royal Rumble.
Yeet. Oh, you can't say that anymore.
Why can't you say Yeet anymore?
Because they have it blocked off. He can't. He wears the Yeet shirt, but they have it blurred out every time now.
Why?
Copyright issues.
Yeet. That's so stupid. Anyway.
That's why when Jay wears the Yeet shirt, his is crossed out and says no.
I'm sorry, I think that's funny. Alrighty, everybody. Well, those are our predictions for the Royal Rumble. We shall find out on Saturday.
I'll be watching. I will definitely be watching.
Me too. If I can't watch it Saturday night, I'll be watching it Sunday morning and do a social media block out. So don't text me anything.
Dang it.
Oh, speaking of texting things, we got roughly 5 minutes. Do you want to tell the world what you discovered about Brock Lesnar? Hide the children.
Hide your children right now. Do not let your children listen to this. So we don't know how true everything is. But you obviously remember the sex harassment things that was going on with Vince within the last year or so, and why he had to step down.
Yeah, and full disclaimer and disclosure: these are purely allegations.
Nothing's 100% true. This is every single bit's allegations.
But apparently, Brock Lesnar a freak.
Brock Lesnar and Vince is a freak.
Well, we knew Vince was messed up.
Yeah. Apparently, whoever this lady is, and I'm not sure who it is. I guess Vince talked her into giving Brock her number to get a hold of him to persuade him into signing the new contract that he'd gotten. And I guess Brock asked her to take a video of her peeing, and if I remember, he called her a.
It was blurred out, but he called her a bitch.
Yeah, he called her a bitch. Now that was the only statement of that one, but there was also a text going on that I'd seen on Twitter stating that Vince supposedly likes shitting on people's chest.
Which actually, thinking back, makes a lot of sense. I mean, and I'm one of those people, hey, whatever floats your boat, but I mean, there's a line.
Yeah, all this just really sounds like a real shitty situation.
Yeah, I know. Well, it just scared the crap out of that lady, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you know what you do to make the best of a shitty situation? Sign an NDA.
Oh God!
Is Kylie Ray still wrestling? I can't remember.
She may do indie stuff, but that's about it.
I think so, and I'm not trying to make light. I just cannot resist the wordplay. Just make her gimmick NDA Kylie Ray.
That would be perfect.
I mean, talk about getting around an NDA. It's just her gimmick. No, she's not saying it's true.
That is perfect, though.
I really I don't want to know, but at the same time, if Jericho really is that creepy, I kind of want to know. But I don't want to know. It's one of those things. It's kind of like I want to know how Raw is going to be on Netflix, but at the same time, I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know. But anyway, now that the shit's out of the bag,
Good thing I have my boots on because shit's getting deep.
that's her code name, deep shit.
But
This has been Down the Middle, everyone's 13th favorite wrestling program. And we're happy you are here to share it with us. I suppose next time we'll go over and tell you what we got right and what we got wrong with the Royal Rumble, and we'll probably just do another wrestling recap because dang it, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna watch wrestling on the regular again. I'm gonna make myself do it. With WWE, it's not nearly as much of a chore as it used to be. I still skip some matches because it's like there's no point, like the New Day. Although, since when did the New Day like start getting serious?
since they started feuding Imperium,
Yeah, well, you pretty well have to. But
how about Pete Dunne coming back as Pete Dunne and not Butch?
finally, now what I don't know, did they give him his old music back?
I believe it is.
Yes. The Bruiserweight's back. I don't know why he's Irish. I don't know. They all sound the same.
Yeah.
No, they don't. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, this has been Down the Middle. I know you've got to go to your day job because unfortunately, we're not your favorite pro wrestling podcast yet, and that means we're not getting paid yet. So hopefully we remedy that this year. There's actually a lot of very exciting things in the works. I will message you about them later, my friend, because you got to go to work. But this has been Down the Middle. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments what your predictions for Royal Rumble are, because I'm curious. I want to see them. And we will see you 2 Thursdays from now.
So long.
Now go.
Farewell.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.